Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me again for Tackle Off Tuesday. I want to thank everybody that has stuck with this. This is the third week we've been doing it. Had a lot of questions. I have absolutely been getting a lot of great feedback from you guys, and that's what it's all about. Is getting that feedback from you all, answering your questions, and making sure that you guys are getting as much information as you possibly can. So hopefully everybody's doing good tonight, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the show. I'm kind of excited about it. It's something that's coming up real soon. Tournament season is coming around. I've been getting a lot of questions on how to get started in tournaments, how much it costs, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to start with tonight. Had a question last week from Shane Dunn. He asked, he's interested in starting to, I'm going to guess, fish. It said actually what tournament trail he was wanting to fish. But his question is, how much can I expect to cost to fish 4 to 6? And we're going to use Cabela's King Cat tournament trails in my estimation. Okay, what I did was I went back through, got the cost of what Cabela's charges for the tournament fees, and for you guys that are just starting into this, these numbers are going to seem like a lot, and they are. This stuff is actually expensive, a lot more expensive than one would think. But if you're going to plan to fish, the Cabela's tournament trail, sit down, make yourself a budget, stick to that budget. It can get out of hand very quickly if you let it. So I went back through kind of what it cost me through a whole year, done an average, so you guys would actually know and have a good solid number on what the cost. Now, up front, I call myself very, very frugal, okay? My wife calls me cheap. So some of the things that I would do, I don't recommend for a lot of people, and a lot of people that know me know how frugal I can be when it comes to hotels and things of that nature. The truck seat, the front truck seat of my truck makes a really good bed. So to start with, a regular tournament for Cabela's, a one-day tournament, costs less than a 2-day super event. And also you're going to have less in gas, less in hotels, less in food, etc. Okay, so one single tournament, one-day tournament is going to cost you $300 at Cabela's. Okay, that is if you sign up early. If you don't know for sure you're going to be able to make that tournament, it's going to cost you an extra $25. I highly recommend that you sit down, you make yourself a agenda, what you plan on doing for the year, and stick to that. Don't do something that's that you're not going to be able to do. Don't sit down and write that you're going to fish 50 tournaments and pay all these entry fees and know that you can't. Okay, so get you a plan together, stick to it, and if you're able to fish more, great. If you're not, you're sticking to that plan. So a one-day tournament for Cabela's is going to cost you $300. Okay, fuel for the week. So if you pre-fish, which most of us do, fuel for an average tournament for a one-day tournament, and that's what all my averages are on right here, is a one-day tournament for right now. Okay, fuel for that week is going to be $400. That is going to depend a lot on how close you are to that tournament, how much you run up and down the river, just things of that nature. And it's going to be more and less. You may have one tournament that's going to cost you $600-700. You may have one tournament that's going to cost you $300. Okay. Hotels. This is where I get very frugal. Okay. I leave at a time whenever I can drive through the night, sleep a couple hours, in my truck or in the bed. I'm usually anxious anyway, and I will get to the boat ramp that I plan on putting in, take a little cat nap, get out on the water. Now, I may only get one hotel for the whole weekend. But I want that hotel room to be the night before the tournament. Friday nights is the most important night that you need to get as much sleep and as much rest as you possibly can. That's going to make a huge difference in how fast you react, making good decisions, and just being safe, period. So I averaged out to $100 per weekend for tournaments. Okay, and like I said, that's very frugal. And another thing I'm very frugal on is food. To me, you're taking this time and money to go to these tournaments. If there's a difference if you're going to just one or two or three, however many, just to have fun, socialize, have a good time, compete against some of the best fishermen there is. Then don't worry about these averages and don't worry about how much it costs if you don't have to. But if you're planning on doing 4, 5, 6, 7 tournaments, big tournaments a year, you need to try to be as frugal as you possibly can. Okay, so food, I always take sandwich meat with me, lunch meat. I always stop at a grocery store, Kroger's or somewhere, get lunch cakes, all that stuff. I keep it in the cooler, keep it in a dry tote in the boat. That way, I always have food. And then I normally would only go out and get something to eat once a day, okay? And have a nice, warm down meal. But, so if you can keep your hotels and your food, and even your fuel too, do minimum amount as you can down, that's going to be able to give you more money toward the end of the year to maybe fish another tournament that you wouldn't have been able to by doing that. So once again, we're talking about for you guys that are just getting on or just been on a few minutes, how much can be expected for tournament entry fees throughout a year. Joe Cassidy, that is hilarious, buddy. Yeah, Joe Cassidy, you fished with me a few times, and you know how it is. When you get in that boat in that truck with me, it's gonna be a long weekend, and you're gonna be doing some serious work. So yeah, so we're averaged out total. What you can expect, Shane, is about, and this goes for everybody that's fishing, planning on fishing these tournaments, about $1,000 a tournament, okay? And that is very expensive, and that's why I try to be as frugal as I possibly can. If you're blessed enough to have sponsors that are willing to step up to the plate and pay entry fees and maybe donate, yeah, thanks, Craig. Craig, for reminding me of those speeding tickets I like to pay. I like to get there quick and get home, and they will catch you. But yeah, it averages out to about $1,000, a tournament, and spending as much time of that time that you're going on the water is going to help you be as consistent as you possibly can and be able to reimburse yourself. So if I was you and or anybody, if you're planning on fishing 2, 3, 4, 6 tournaments, try to sit down, make you a budget that is going to, average out to about $1,000 a tournament, and then, maybe talk, if you have sponsors, talk to them. $25, $50, $100, whatever it may be, it all adds up. It all adds up. So, if they can help you, that is absolutely great, for these guys to step up like that. But make your budget, sit down, and, work as hard as you can. Once you get to that water, stay on that water as much as you can until the night before the tournament. Like I said, the night before the tournament, that's the night you need to get a hotel room. That's the night you need to get rest, get a good hot shower, a good meal, and make sure you're in bed. That's not a night to be out drinking and hanging out with the buddies. You want to make good, solid decisions come the day of the tournament, and You know, a lot of us, like myself, I didn't listen to my teachers whenever they told me that before a test, and it showed in school. But I guarantee you, if you stick to that, it will definitely help you make those little decisions that you may not think about if you did not get the rest that you needed. Okay. Now, so Shane, I hope that helped you out. Hopefully, that gave you an idea, and kind of I hope it didn't deter you from doing it. I highly encourage you to go out and fish. Fish those tournaments. Now, for anybody watching, and if they're thinking, man, that's really high. I fish local tournaments. If you fish local tournaments, that amount is drastically going to change because you're not going to have as much in food, gas, hotel, or entry fees, nonetheless. But big national tournaments like Cabela's, Monsters on the Ohio, Mississippi River Monsters, Santee Cooper, Monster Cat Quest, King of the James, Winter Blues on Wheeler, any of that, you can, if you're going to be there for, minimum of 3 days, you can look at that $1,000. So next question that we're going to be talking about tonight, it kind of goes along with that. Greg from Catfish Stalker Outdoors, and I get this a lot. Everybody's like, well, how do you even say the name, that's on your hat or on the boat, and what does it mean? Slunger Cat Outdoors, Slunger, okay? Sorry about that. I was looking at a question. Slunger Cat Outdoors is something that for anybody that has been following me for any length of time knows that I am a huge family man. I got a lot of respect for my grandfather. He taught me so much growing up, and I spent so much time with him. My father and everything. But as I was growing up, my grandfather actually I heard him say slunger. Man, that's a slunger buck, or that's a slunger fish, just slunger. He'd always say it. And I never thought nothing about it. I always, I just went with it, I would say it. And I started the YouTube channel early on as just Souders catfishing. But I didn't really like it. I liked it, but it didn't have a, ring to it, I guess you could say. And I was sitting kind of talking with somebody that's actually on this live chat right now, Mr. Harley Neal. And we was kind of going back and forth, and I was talking to him, and he actually come up with the name of Slunger Cat Outdoors. He just said it out of the blue. He said Slunger Cat Outdoors, and actually he said Slunger Cat, and I added the outdoors, and he's like Mr. Slunger Cat. So anyway, and so that's how Slunger Cat began. He always heard me say that's a slunger, and whenever he would be fishing with me, I would yell at him and say, time to get that rod, that's a slunger, instead of saying that's a big one. So that's why it's called Slunger Cat Outdoors. It's it means a lot to me. It brings a little piece of my my history, my grandfather, my dad with me, and those people really mean a lot to me. So now, Catfish Stalker also wanted to know what tournaments I plan on fishing this year. I've been running the Cabela's tournament trail for a few years now, and several years, and I've been fishing a lot of tournaments. And I will say this to anybody: be careful on how many you fish and how hard you go at it. You can and will burn yourself out on it. For anybody that's on here that's close friends of mine that I talk to a lot, they would see me come home on a Saturday night from the tournament and leave out the next Tuesday, and I would look like a zombie. That's all I would think about. That's all I would do. It was constantly catching bait, catching fish, catching bait, traveling, driving, working, and still trying to fit in family time and a 40-hour work week. So you can exhaust yourself of it, and I kind of did. It became more of a job than it did fun, and I enjoy this interaction and be able to teach you guys, what I've learned by running that hard, and hopefully be able to encourage you guys to, do that as well, but maybe just a little bit safer than I did. Try not to get those speeding tickets and wreck and tear things up. But so when it comes to what I'm planning on fishing this year, I am not going to be running the Cabela's Trail this year. I'm planning on doing a lot more videos, fishing some of the bigger major events. I'm wanting to fish Santee Cooper Monster Cat Quest. I like fishing out there. There's a lot of good fish, a lot of, just a good area, good people, lots of good men out there. King of the James, I'm planning on fishing it. I am going to fish 1 or 2 Cabela's so I can get qualified for the Classic. So I'll be fishing, maybe 1 or 2 of the Cabela's close. The Sea Art tournament, Monsters on the Mississippi. I love fishing out there, so I'll be back out there fishing. And then I will be back, probably do Monsters on the Ohio. I'm not 100% sure, depends on dates and times and things like that, but whether I'll have enough vacation for that. And then obviously the Classic and things at the end of the year. So Greg, that's kind of what I'm planning on. Now, something, and this is the best part, this is what I like the most about doing these live feeds. So, I said I'm frugal. My wife says I'm cheap. But, I want you to comment, help everybody in here. I know there's some guys that have fished several tournaments, ladies included. You have good ideas just the same as I do. So please leave them in the comments. Tell these guys some of your tips, some of your tricks that you do to help save yourself money and be able to fish more tournaments, and in case get more more time on the water. How many tackling cats, buddy? Willie, you love stirring that little pot, don't you? But you know what, Willie? Tell a little quick story. A couple years ago, Willie Cahoon, he owns Tackling Cats, super good guy. Check him out if you haven't. But he come to one of my seminars, and he started talking to me about fishing for channel cats and fishing lake fishing. And at the time I was strictly river, strictly flatheads, strictly blue cats. That's all I knew. That's all I loved. And I took it as a challenge, kind of. And me and Willie talk a lot, and he's a super good guy, like I said. But now I actually enjoy that. He kind of lit that fire underneath me, and also Cabela's come to Ohio in a small lake called Rocky Fork. So I had to push myself to learn how to fish lakes, to learn how to fish for those channel cats. And that's what this tournament fishing will do. It will push you to new limits that you never even thought you could. Whenever you think you're ready to give up, you're behind that steering wheel in that boat, and you're like, man, I just can't go no more. All of a sudden you look up at that screen and there's like the biggest fish you ever seen, or the biggest, prettiest, oak tree laying on the bottom of the river. And you forget about being tired. You forget about how, those 20 hours that you spent staring at that sonar screen, and you're amped back up and you're ready to go, and it just lights that back up underneath of you. And that's what I love about tournament fishing. I have learned more, getting my butt handed to me by some of these awesome fishermen all over the country than I ever have just going out on my own. Okay, so anyway, with that being said, I started fishing as many lakes and as much channel cat waters as I possibly could, and it's actually a funny thing because now I enjoy it. I enjoy going to those places, putting out planer boards, putting out dragging rods, and just dragging baits, and learning new things. And that's whenever I go to Wheeler Lake, I would never venture into the lake because I was a river guy. I didn't know anything different. But even fishing a small lake here at the house got me, comfortable doing what I needed to be doing, maybe in a bigger scale, instead of using a piece of bait, 1x1 for a channel cat, you're using a 2-pound skipjack, but you're still dragging it. It's still the same concept, just, bigger rods, bigger baits, bigger hooks type thing. So, I got to give a little bit of credit for, things like that, Willie. You done good, buddy. You got me sparked up to do that. And, so I give you props and thank you for that. Push. Like I said, it pushes me. That's a good one, Brian and Linda Folsom. Take advantage of. And you got. I laugh, but you guys are gonna find that's. This is Melinda. Brian and Melinda Folsom said, the dollar menus at fast food places. But coupons, clip coupons, take them with you. I mean, if you're on the road, hotel cards. I have a hotel card for just about every hotel. If you stay at, normally I stay at like Quality 8s, Super 8s, real lower end hotels. As long as I flip the mattress up and I don't find no bugs or needles or anything like that, I'm good. I'll go in there and I'll stay. But after so many stays, 2-3 stays, you usually get a free night, so that helps out great. And the fees are normally a little bit less too. So now we're I kind of answered a couple questions. What do you guys have on anything? Any questions? We got a few minutes left here. Let's hear from you guys. What you guys want to hear from tonight. And remember, if you have any questions for future shows, and I don't want to make these shows real long. I'm going to try to stay at about 30 minutes. But I have pages of shows that are coming up. It's great the feedback that I've gotten. I never would have dreamed. What's Whisker Sticks Fishing? What software do I use for making my videos? So I have not spent a bunch of money on cameras or anything like that. Adam, hold on a second, I'm gonna write this down. So to answer the first question, what program do I use to make my videos? I use VideoPad. It was like $70. I bought it, the program, about 3 or 4 years ago, and started. It's way above my head. I mean, more than I can do. I wish I was able to do that, but when I'm just kind of illiterate when it comes to that stuff. I use GoPros, GoPro Hero 3 and 4. I also use the little GoPro Session, a handheld. I don't do much video with my phone. This is, what you guys see here is live feed, and that's about all that I do with my phone. So, and I talk a lot with my hands, so you guys see this a lot, and I apologize for that. So, the next question was, what do I do for a living? I work for the railroad. I'm a track inspector for the railroad. I enjoy it. The railroad has been good to me, and God has blessed me with a great job to be able to provide for my family and do something that I love to do. All right, so anybody else? What else you guys got out there? For some people that some things coming up. The guys in Ohio, around Columbus, within a short driving distance of Columbus, Ohio. We will be there in February. Once the dates and times that I'll be doing seminars get settled and locked in, Dave is supposed to be getting a hold of me from the Columbus Fishing Expo to tell me exactly then, and I will let you guys know. It'll be, I'll post it on my Facebook page. I'll also do let you guys know here as we come up to it. So come up there. Extreme Bait Systems. Bait tanks will be up there. They'll have tanks, oxygen boxes, cutting boards, things like that. So make sure you come up there and try and check them out. We'll be up there in the booth. Me and Mark Lavelt will be there. So if you just want to hang out, talk, whatever you want to do, like I said, I'll be doing seminars Friday and Saturday at that. Any seminars in Iowa? James, I don't know if you are on Messenger or not, but if you have, I'm open to go just about anywhere. I love to go and meet new people. So if, and this goes for anybody that's on here, if you know somebody that does like a director of the fishing expo or hunting and fishing expos or outdoor expos, get them in contact with me or give me their contact information. I'd love to come out there. I'd love to meet you guys out there in Iowa. I think it'd be an absolute blast, an amazing good time. So, and I've never been, out there on pleasure. I've been out there fishing, but, make sure you hit me up with their contact, whether it be through Messenger, Facebook, YouTube, however, and let me know. Well, let's see here. Fellas, if there's no more questions from you guys, hopefully you all enjoyed tonight's show. Remember to make sure to leave comments and questions for future shows on what you want to see. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information that you want, and that is the only way to do it. And I greatly appreciate all the feedback we've had, all the questions. I've had a lot of questions, a lot of good questions, and I can't say thank you enough. But make sure that you leave in comments, hit that subscribe button if you and share, like, all that good stuff. You know how it goes. If you can. And until next week, I will try to get you all another video out this week sometime. And we will talk to you next week. Have a good week. God bless.